Hello everyone, my name is Borixamighty, and today we'll be ranking all 163 champion subreddits. Now you might be wondering, how do you plan on doing this? What makes you even qualified to rank them? Well, if you watched my last video, which I'll put over here, okay, I'll apparently put it over here. Bro, you're the one editing this, why are you trolling me? Okay, this video, right over here, then you know I posted a poll in every subreddit that I could then learn how strong they found their champion to be in the current moment. And again, you might be wondering, is that really enough to let you rate the subreddits? Well, yes, apparently it is, because my lord, you might not think that this was a big deal, but apparently to certain people, this was a great way for them to prove that they have no ability to critical think or be empathetic in any way. Now disclaimer, do not, for the love of all which is holy, harass, bother, message, or annoy anyone involved in this video. That is the last thing I want to happen. Like I was telling my friends when I was talking about this, if you ever do anything like that, I'll be super duper pissed at you. Oh, for any Reddit mods out there, a friend is someone who enjoys your company and wants to spend time with you. The only reason why I'm making this video is for entertainment purposes and to highlight the positive subreddits I've come across, as they deserve some love. I also will be calling out subreddits I believe have abused their power for no reason, because that's something I don't appreciate, and I'm willing to call you out on that. Alright, let's start this tier list by going over the tiers. First off, we have GOAT tier, which stands for greatest of all time, and these are subreddits that have gone above and beyond and need to be shouted out. Then we have S tier, and these are subreddits that responded in a way I found particularly interesting, or even better yet, made me chuckle as I went through the comments of my post. Then we have A tier, and these are all great subreddits where I had no drama and oftentimes have had very interesting discussions in their own right, and I would highly recommend you check them out. Then we have B tier. These are subreddits that I have minor complaints about, so they don't go up, but none of them are bad for sure. Then we have C tier, and these are subreddits that do something kind of annoying, but it's really not too bad. I'd be happy to give them a second chance, but they just aren't as good as others. Then we have D tier, and these are subreddits that have done something that I think is a little, let's say, funky. But if you took the word funky and replaced the N with a C. Finally, we have Nope tier, and oh boy, those are subreddits that I will not be visiting ever again unless I am absolutely forced to for some weird reason, but let's just say that day hopefully never comes. But at the same time, you can say one positive thing. They are the reason I'm making this video, so let's give them a round of applause for that, and thank you for that. Appreciate it. Okay, one last question before we begin that you might have is, what even is a champion main subreddit? And pretty much it's a place on Reddit people can go to talk about their favorite champion. So again, I do recommend checking them out because it is fun content. Now, do you have any other questions? Wait, you do? Well, stop talking at the screen. That's weird. Don't be a weirdo. Just leave them down below in the comments, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Now, without further ado, let's finally begin only 3 minutes and 20 seconds into the video. Alright, let's get started, and we're going to begin with Aatrox, as we're going to go through alphabetical order, and when you have 2 A's to begin with, you're always going to be first. And he gets simply placed into A tier. Good subreddit, good engagement, many interesting comments. Yeah, definitely worth checking out. Now, I'm going to be flying through a lot of these, as there is 163 different champions, so if I don't say a lot about your subreddit, honestly, maybe that's a good thing. But yeah, no, Aatrox, definitely a good one. Ahri, we have our first C tier, and the only reason for that is they removed my post without any warning. They didn't tell me that happened. I mean, that's fine. They probably thought it was spam as I contacted all of the different subreddits, which is a little bit weird because I don't think it's actually spam. I mean, I have to go contact every single subreddit in order to gather this data. So I'm going to put a C tier. It's not that big of a deal. It's fine. Who really cares? Akali mains, that is another A tier. Good engagement. Very interesting. Alright, Akshan mains. I mean, it is alphabetical order, so the main reason this whole video exists, it's right here. Nope tier. I am sorry, Akshan mains, but let's go into it. You might understand why you're getting the first nope tier. So, when you're on Akshan mains and you want to make a poll, you can't do that, right? It's just grayed out. That's fine. I don't mind. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna go contact them and ask them if maybe there's a way we can get around that. Maybe I can make a poll some other way. Well, let's find out, right? Let's just ask them politely what we might be able to do. So here we go. I send them a message. I say, hello, Akshan main mods. I've been on a mission to garner results from all the main subreddits. I'll put them in a spreadsheet to compare them. I've been able to get 151 subreddits so far, but sadly can't include this one as I can't make a poll. I was wondering if we could work together to come up with a solution, as it would be sad to leave out the Lost Sentinel. And then, because I was accidentally using Discord to make this, like, edit it to make sure it sounded good, I had a frowny face in it, and it automatically converted to this, and when I copy-pasted it, I didn't catch it. So, maybe that's why they're so pissed, which is fine. Whatever. Then I said, thank you for reading, and looking forward to your response soon. That's fine, right? I'm excited. And then this is how they respond. Absolutely not. This is spam and against Reddit's own TOS. And I was like, okay, I can see why you think it's spam. Interesting you say it's against the terms of service. I mean, sure, let me respond. So what I do, I even look at the terms of service. I go over it and I see, well, it doesn't really say that it's spam because I'm not going over one subreddit. I'm going over a bunch of other subreddits, so there's not really, like, people being affected by it too much, and it is different because I have to poll all the other people. But yeah, so anyways, what I say is, thank you for your response. I'm sadly a little confused as I don't believe this is spam. Spam would be if I spammed the same subreddit multiple times, annoying everyone. There is nothing against Reddit TOS against posting in many subreddits in the same day. Especially because I have no other choice if I want to gather this information. My goal is to find out when every single main subreddit thinks about their main so that I can compare the results, and I do not know how else I can do so besides asking them, right? I hope we can come to some sort of compromise and figure this out together. Very nice, right? I'm just trying to be cordial, I'm just trying to get this organized, I'm just wanting to include Akshan mains into this project that I've done, which again is in the other video, if you really want to understand what this is all about. And then he responds to me. And he says, to quote Reddit's view on what is considered spam, repeatedly posting the same or similar comments in a thread subreddit or across subreddits. That is exactly what you're doing, posting the same copy-pasted content across the hundreds of CM subreddits. We will not be taking part in this. And, okay, that's fine, it's annoying, it's not my favorite. I mean, that's no reason to put him all the way into F tier, right? It's reasonable. Maybe I can talk to him, try to reason with him. But what does he do? He says this. He immediately mutes me. Interesting. Doesn't give me a chance to respond. You've been temporarily muted from Akshan mains. You will not be able to message the moderators of r/Akshan mains forever for 28 days. Why is he doing that? I mean, I'm just asking questions. Maybe we can continue this conversation, but no! He's just putting his foot down. He's saying, absolutely not. This is my final decision. I don't know why. I don't think Akshan mains would mind this at all, because sure, I am posting the same copy-pasted content across the hundreds of the champion main subreddits, but again, I don't have a choice. I have to do this in order to gather the information. So, it's a little annoying. We will not be taking part in this. The mute really did annoy me because I just want to keep talking. At the end of the day, we should always respect the people's decisions, as it is their subreddits. We might not like it, but we do have to respect it. So yeah, that's where we are with Akshan mains, and it's not that bad, right? They just don't like spam. Maybe they're like, maybe one day someone fed them that weird lunch meat spam and they got really, really sick. So anytime they see anything that might be even related to spam, they just absolutely hate and they have to ignore it. So I can be compassionate about that, right? It's important to be empathetic, compassionate to the situation. Surely this guy feels the same way. He just might have like something where he really, really hates spam. But at the same time, we have this post. Akshan mains, you are needed. And then it has this, right? Very interesting. That's cool, you know, this is the guy who's has this little tournament going on where he just wants to get all the mains together, and have a little tournament. Very cool, very cool. But that's weird, because this same post is getting posted in every single subreddit. Kind of like my poll is, right? That's very, very interesting, don't you think? Fiddlesticks mains, you're needed. Fiora mains, you're needed. Fizz mains, and it's been removed by some people, so people are also saying it's spam. Galio mains, you're needed. Garen mains, you're needed. Nara mains, you're needed. So exactly the same thing I'm doing, Akshan mains. Exactly the same thing. And what is it? 5 days ago, it's still up? That's interesting. So maybe you don't actually care about spam, whatever. You just don't want my post there. If you're going to say that you don't like spam, then you also have to be consistent in removing this post, do you not? I don't know what you're saying. It is the exact same thing. They just changed the Akshan mains. I just changed my title, so you don't actually care about spam. You just do not like my post. So don't A, just lie to me and say that you care so much about spam, and then mute me so that I can't respond, and then be a complete hypocrite, right? So maybe now you understand why I have to put them in nope tier. It's not something I want to do, but I have the receipts. This is just what they're doing. They're not letting me participate in this poll. They're not letting me include Akshan mains, and I don't know how to stop this rant. I'm just, okay, we're gonna go back to being calm. We're gonna be calm. Who cares at the end of the day? It's just Akshan mains. We just don't have the Lost Sentinel in my little project. But yeah, that's why you can see I'm just not going to interact with them ever again. If they want to be hypocrites, they just want to lie to me, come up with a reason that's not actually true, and then not even allow me to respond to them. We're just not gonna participate with them anymore. And I'm not saying you should like not go there absolutely if you don't want to, but it's just not my personal favorite subreddit and not one that I will be going to ever again. And also, I swear to God, if anyone harasses them because of this video or anything else, do not do that. Again, I'm saying do not harass any of these people. These are just normal human beings. They might enjoy power tripping. They might do some things that aren't correct in my eyes, but it's just Reddit at the end of the day. Who cares? Leave them alone. We do not want anyone harassing anyone. Please, please, please do not do that. I can't stress that enough. But yeah, that's how Akshan mains go into the nope tier. Alright, let's move on to the next champion, which is going to be Alistar, and he gets our first S tier. And that's because of this comment right here, where they said Alistar is medium rare, A5 Wagyu, just right. And I like that comment. So Alistar, you can have a little S tier. Amumu gets an A tier. Good post, good community. Anivia, A tier, good community. Annie, A tier, good community. Aphelios, another A tier. You can see a trend, there's a lot of A tiers, these just good communities. Alright, now we have Ashe, and Ashe gets our first D tier. You might be wondering why. Well, Ashe is one of the earlier champions, and so they removed my post, which is okay. It's their choice to remove my poll if they don't want it. So I decided to message them and see why did they do that. So we sent a message to the Ashe main moderators where we asked, hello there Ashe main moderators. I made a post earlier today asking the lovely people of Ashe mains what they thought about their champions' power level. My plan is to include the results with all of the champions. It would be nice if I could gain access to them. Then it says, and then I said, if you need to change something about my post or some other deal, I hope we can find a compromise that works for both parties. Then they responded saying, hi, thanks for reaching out to Ashe mains. Unfortunately, we do not allow polling posts on our sub, which is a bit annoying, and I think the wrong decision, as I have contacted other main subreddits who also do not allow polling and have even allowed me to go and poll them, which is very kind of them, as they have realized that these polls are not that bad because they're actually interesting. And yeah, so I'm gonna give them a D tier, but I responded, okay, no worries, thank you for the response. So it's not that big of a deal, it's fine. It's their decision, but it's not one that I'm a huge fan of, so D tier. Yeah, and the reason why it's D tier is because they, like Ahri mains, removed the post without warning, and then the reason why they gave wasn't my favorite, so I'm gonna put it in D tier. But nothing wrong with the Ashe main subreddit, really. It's nothing compared to this one over here, which I will not mention, but yeah, just not my favorite. Alright, next up, Auerlion Soul, A tier. Azir, A tier. Bard. Bard is an interesting one. Bard, similar to some other subreddits, you can't actually poll them, like the Akshan ones, but they didn't respond to me yet, so I can't really rate them too much. I'll just give them a C tier for now. But at the same time, I'm thinking maybe the Bard mains are just out there collecting chimes, and it kind of makes me feel like an ADC they've abandoned, which I kind of like the thematics of that. So I'll give them a B tier for now, and maybe one day they'll respond to me. Next up, we have Blitzcrank mains, easy A tier. Brand mains, easy A tier. Braum mains, A tier. Caitlyn mains, A tier. Camile mains, A tier. Cassiopeia mains. Now that's actually going to be a B tier, and you might be wondering why. And it's nothing more than there just wasn't any comments on the post I included, and it kind of made me sad. I like reading all the comments. I find it very interesting, so B tier. There you go. Seems fair. I mean, there's probably nothing wrong with this subreddit. It's just some champions are gonna have to go B tier, and if there's no engagement, I don't think it's that interesting compared to some of the other ones. Because again, remember, if they're going A tier, there's engagement there, and it is interesting. All right, Corki, that's going to be our second S tier. That's simply for the fact that they rated their champions super low, but everyone's just kind of laughing about it and having a good time. Like, haha, same here. I usually do well, but I played Saturday first game Corki and went 1-6-1. So they seem to be pretty chill dudes, and I'll give them an S tier for that. Darius mains, back-to-back S tiers. Very cool. Why is that? Well, because one random Darius player just said I main Quinn, so I don't know on my poll, and I respect that. I find that very funny and weird. Diana mains, third S in a row, let's go! And the reason for that is this interesting comment that said, hot take, when a so-and-so main subreddit says their champion is a bit weak and could use a buff, then said champion is nicely balanced. To which I responded, my favorite hot take is when a main subreddit says their champion might be overpowered, and then they must be giga broken. And they responded with, that was us last year during the Tank Diana incident, so it shows that they're aware when their champion is busted, and it's pretty cool to see. Draven mains, would you believe it? We have our fourth S. And Draven mains is very interesting. They're some of the more psychotic mains, if I can say that. Very interesting. They had this little comment that just said 420 votes nice, and originally I was like, that's not enough to put them in S tier. And then I got the comment I was more expecting, where someone posted a link to a YouTube music video which just had the title of something not very nice. So Draven mains living up to the expectation. You can go in the S tier. Very good, very good. Dr. Mundo, we're going back into A tier. Good subreddit, but nothing too special. Ekko, A tier. Elise, A tier. Alright, Evelynn, another S tier, and that's because of this comment right here, which someone said, finally someone using they, them for Eve. And that's because in my post, I use a gender neutral in there, because I just didn't feel like changing it to he, she every single time. But hey, if they appreciate it, I think that's pretty cool. Accidental win, I guess. Ezreal, he goes into C tier. They just removed my post, no warning. Simple as that. Nothing too big. Fiddlesticks, easy A tier. Fiora goes into D tier, and that's a bit of a complicated story, and we're gonna wait until we reach a different subreddit's mains to explain that. Alright, Fizz mains. Another champion that's actually going to end up in B tier. It's a little complicated. I'm gonna have to explain that when I get to another champion, but you'll see what I mean. Galio mains, another A tier. Gameplank mains, A tier. Garen mains, A tier. Gnar mains, A tier. Gragas mains, S tier. And it's pretty simple, but if you can comment Bomba and everybody knows what it's talking about, it's a pretty funny community. So I like that. I like that. Graves main, another S tier, but this one's a bit interesting, a little different. So when I posted, this was the only one of two subreddits that had a little auto-moderator response, and it just said, this is a reminder that if this post is homophobic, racist, or offensive, please report it. So, Graves mains, something might be interesting going over there. Nothing I support, but hey, I thought that was something a little different and a little bit interesting. So, they can get a little S tier. Alright, Gwen mains, our second Nope tier. Now, I will say there are two Gwen subreddits. There's r/Gwen, who is getting the Nope tier, and then there's r/Gwen mains, which I didn't realize. So r/Gwen mains, I actually have no real opinion on. They don't have a possibility to poll, but after contacting everyone else, I got a little demoralized, so I haven't reached out to them, but they don't get a rating. But r/Gwen gets Nope tier, and let's dive into that. So I contacted r/Gwen with the exact same posts as the Akshan ones, just swapping out Gwen and saying hello seamstress. And I wanted to see what they respond, as you can't poll on r/Gwen. And they said, sorry, no, this is spam. And I was feeling just kind of chill. I didn't want to argue it. So I said, no worries, thought I'd ask. Have a nice day. Very calm. Then we had the Fiora mains, where they just removed my post. So I went to the Fiora mains mod to ask why that one was removed. Then I realized that it had the same moderator, which is quite common with a lot of the subreddits, which is another reason why I didn't go back and ask them to, which is why I didn't go back and ask them to re-put up my post or ask them if I could change anything, because if there's one moderator that doesn't like you and he's moderating a bunch of different subreddits, there's pretty much nothing you can do about it. I just don't want to deal with it. But I tried with the Gwen moderator first, and I said, look, and then I called them out their name because I'm showing that I know that they moderate both of them. Again, don't bother anyone. I'm gonna blur it out. I said, look, Gwen moderator, I understand you believe this is spam, which I disagree with. I was okay with only Gwen being the champion not included, but gatekeeping 3 champions from being involved sucks for everyone who might be interested. What can I do to get the results involved without it being spam? And then they responded with, sorry, but you were spamming every subreddit with no personal interest in them. I'm not the only subreddit to remove this from you. We see this kind of stuff all the time, and we always remove them. It is not only against our rules, but Reddit as well. And I was like, okay, it's kind of interesting you say I have no personal interest in any of the subreddits when I have spent way too much time on all of these subreddits, probably more than any other human being alive at the moment, which is insane and should not be done, but yeah, I don't know why they're saying that. Anyways, this is how I responded. I said, I have very much invested interest in every single subreddit, as I enjoy every single champion. That is true. You can see from my former series, which is still ongoing, where I talk about every single champion that can be possibly played, which will then be rated in the support role. So I do literally love every single champion, and I say it's impossible to compare every single champion without asking each subreddit. Does that not make sense? I also have spent over 20 hours so far on this project. Now it is way more than that, but who cares? So it seems a bit silly to assume I have no personal interest in this matter. I also see myself spending even more time, as this is just the beginning. Very true. Good job, me. While yes, a few other subreddits have also removed my posts, I've appealed to them as well. Would you like me to prove to you how interested I am in your subreddit so that I may be allowed to post again? Here I'm being a little sarcastic, but I mean, hey, if you want me to post a bunch of I love Fiora content, I'll do it. I don't mind. I think the fact that I so desperately want to get these champions to be involved in the results show how much personal interest I have in them. Yeah, I really want to see what Fiora mains have to say about this. I really want to see what Gwen mains have to say to this. I really want to see what Akshan mains have to say with this. And then I said, also in terms of Reddit, I have looked it over, which I did. And then I say I do not see where I have crossed the line. Just because I've posted a lot does not mean it is spam. Spam would be if I posted in your subreddit a lot. I also do not want to post a lot, but I have to if I want to obtain these results. I also looked over the Fiora mains rules, and nowhere does it mention that you aren't allowed to post in other subreddits, because that'd be weird if you did that. Then I ended with, I hope we can come to some agreement once again, and a little bit different than the Akshan mains, they didn't mute me so that I couldn't respond, they just ignored me, which, okay, whatever, like, don't respond. But yeah, not a very pleasant experience in general. You can just double down on your approach, say that you really hate spam. That'd be okay with me. So yeah, so the Gwen mains are gonna be a Nope tier. Fiora mains, I don't know, I just put it in D tier. Maybe they go in Nope tier as well. Who really cares? If you're at down here, it's just, you're not the most agreeable with me, but pretty much just don't ignore me and try to work with me so that we can come with a compromise. I would have been happy to rechange my whole post specific to Fiora, which would have been weird because then it could influence the results, which you don't want to do in this scientific experiment. So I just don't think these people can critically think. I always say that, like, just spend the time to, like, think about this whole process. Like, I have to kind of keep things the same so we can figure it out. Sure, it might be spam, but it is interesting spam. You could go out and accept it. I don't know why I'm trying to justify what these people are doing. It's insane. It's just insane. I'm not a big fan of it. Alright, let's move on. Hecarim mains, they get a C tier. I love Hecarim, one of my favorite champions, but they just removed my post without warning, so C tier is where they have to go. Heimerdinger mains, we're back to another good A tier. It's good to be back. Lowy, another good A tier. Irelia mains, looks like we have them in S tier, and that would be for this comment right here, where someone said, I would pay real money to see the people who said S IRL, and I think that's pretty funny. I like that. Ivern mains, we have another A tier. Janna mains, A tier. Jarvan mains, another B tier. Just because, similar to Cassiopeia mains, they didn't have any comments, so I don't find it that interesting. Jax mains gets a C tier because there's no polling options possible. And I contacted them, no response yet. And unlike Bard, I don't really know what excuse they have. Their mains, you know, they're just chilling top lane. They can respond to a message, right? So they get a C tier. Jace mains, I'm gonna give another D tier because I believe they're in the same little circle of nonsense that is involved over here. So yeah, a little D tier just to remove my post. Jhin, another one, little 4-man action where it's a little weird. I mean, it kind of makes me want to bump up Jhin because number 4, but then it would no longer be 4. So yeah, we'll just keep them down here for now. Then we have Jinx, another A tier. Now, Kai'Sa is an interesting one. They get a B tier because they, like Jax mains and Barn mains, don't have polling as an option. And when I messaged them, they did respond with this message, straw poll. They just told me I could make a straw poll, which I respect. I appreciate the message. I would have voted them much higher if they added anything else to the message. It's a little bit curt, which I mean, I respect. I do think it's kind of funny, but they get a B tier. I didn't make a straw poll at the end of the day because they're just now receiving buffs, so it might influence their mains opinions on their champion. I think like after a week of the buffs, I'm going to poll them again just to see what they think. But maybe Reddit is no longer there because of all the drama that's going on behind the scenes with Reddit, which is kind of messed up that what Reddit is doing, but this is not the video or the place for that at the moment. Kalista mains gets a C tier. They just removed my post without warning. Kind of annoying. Kalista mains, I would like to apologize. You did not remove my post. I don't know why I thought you did. So yeah, you guys would actually be A tier, and I'm very, very sorry for the misrepresentation. I hope you can forgive me, as we can all make mistakes. I'm sorry, guys. A tier. Good subreddit. Good subreddit. Karma mains did the exact same thing, which surprises me. I don't know why a support main subreddit is so concerned if people find out how strong they think their champion is. Next here with Kha'Zix, which goes back to the A tier. Kassadin, which goes up to A tier. Alright, Katarina mains gets another S tier, and it's honestly one of my personal favorites up here. They have a lot of comments. They have the most votes by far, and it's pretty much just everyone arguing if the champion is S tier or absolute garbage, and it's really funny, and the votes are all over the place. Definitely would recommend checking out just reading the comments. It's great for a little laugh. Kale mains, we're back to the A tier. Kayn mains follow suit. Kennen mains follow suit. Kha'Zix mains. Again, these are all interesting. I think Kha'Zix mains is one of the more interesting ones, but nothing too special. A tier. Kinder mains, A tier. Kled mains, A tier. Kog'Maw, A tier. Cassante mains just didn't have polling as an option and hasn't responded to my comment, so I'll just put it as C tier. LeBlanc mains, another good A tier. Lee Sin, A tier. Leona, A tier. Lilia, A tier. Lissandra, A tier. Now the Lucian mains gets a B tier because, once again, no comments on the post, not very interesting discussions. Lula mains gets an A tier. Lux mains gets an A tier. Malphite mains gets a C tier. I'm very sad. It's one of my favorite champions. They removed the post, even though, I mean, it had good votes and there's not a lot of people on the subreddit, so I thought it would be interesting, but hey, if it personally offended them, they can remove it if they want. But yeah, it goes into C tier. Malzahar mains, A tier. Maokai mains, A tier. Master Yi mains. Now this is a very interesting B tier, and it is for this reason. If you go to the Master Yi's poll that I made, you can see that the votes, and you might be wondering, where are the total votes? Well, if you're using light mode, which is just Reddit's default and I didn't bother to change it, you can't see how many votes there are unless you highlight it, which is ever so slightly annoying for me, but hey, you're getting a B tier because I just can't read how many votes it is unless you highlight it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this subreddit, but it's getting a B tier from me. Misfortune mains, A tier. Now, this tier list I'm using is pretty funny, where they have Wukong not under W, they have him under M for monkey. I just wanted to point that out. I think that's a little silly, a little funny, but he gets a tier. It's kind of hard to see because I'm looking at a tier list I did before. Just the A tier is so big, so I kind of get lost in the sauce. Mordekaiser, another A tier. Morgana, honestly, Morgana deserves an S tier because there are so many interesting conversations going on with Morgana mains. I'm very surprised. Another great one to look at, kind of similar to Katarina. Just everyone like having so much input on this. But Morgana mains, nice, right? You thought you were gonna be S tier? Nope, you are Nope tier. I hate Morgana, least favorite champion. So sorry, you just get a Nope tier. And you might be like, oh, this is completely biased. Yep, sorry Morgana mains, Nope tier you go. The less I have to interact with you, Morgana mains, the happier I am. But in all seriousness, it is actually a great subreddit, and they are very interesting. So S tier for everyone else, but for Oryx the Mighty, Nope tier. Nami mains gets another S tier, and it's for this comment right here where someone asked, do you also poll r/golden retrievers on are enough tennis balls being thrown? And I don't understand it, why they said that. Maybe because they are annoyed that I'm posting a bunch of subreddits, but I think it's a pretty funny way to point that out. So you know what? You get an S tier. Good job. I don't mind the flame. I think it's funny. S tier for Nami mains. Nasus mains, we're back to our A tiers. Nautilus, A tier. Nico, A tier. Nidalee, we have another S tier, and it's for these comments, which I thought were interesting, where one person's complaining that the jungle clear should be easier, and that got -4 votes. And then the highest response to that was removing more skill expression. No thanks. I like that. I respect mains who like their champion to be a bit difficult, even if it makes their champion a little weaker. So big respect to Nidalee mains over here. Nocturne, A tier. Nunu, A tier. Olaf, A tier. Orianna, A tier. Ornn, A tier. Pantheon, A tier. Poppy, A tier. Alright, for me, Pyke deserves an S tier, but let's see what Pyke mains think about their champion right now. I mean, how could that not be an S tier? Kiana, A tier. Quinn, A tier. Rakan, A tier. Now, Rammus is actually S tier, and not because he's one of my favorite champions, but because of this little interaction. Somebody pointed out to me that they noticed in the table that Rammus was the only one not capitalized, and they were wondering if I had a problem with that, and I immediately apologized, because I love Rammus. I fixed it. So now if you check the Excel sheet for yourself, which I will actually leave in the description below, I haven't mentioned that before, you will see that Rammus gets the respect that he truly does deserve. Then we have Rek'Sai, who gets an A tier. And then we come to Rel, which is an interesting one because they did remove my post without warning. So normally that deserves a C tier. But I actually came into contact with them, and it was actually a really good interaction. So let's talk about that. So I asked Rel mains why the post got removed, and they responded to me pretty quickly that they prohibit Google Drive links as they could be malicious, which I respect. Like, I can understand that. And I said, okay, that is understandable. I included in case people who were interested. Can I redo the post, please, if I leave that whole part out? And they said, sure. And then they said, even better, same with Yone and Fizz, just in case you see those got deleted as well. And I said, thank you so much. It means a lot to me. I'll fix those issues tomorrow and appreciate we can work together. And that's how a mod interaction should maybe work, you know? I say something, they say something, we come up with a resolution. I mean, I had that with the Ashe mains. That worked out. And, Gwen and, I don't even know who this champion, Akshan, yeah, that's the name of the champion. That's not how it worked out. That's not a nice interaction. So we'll bump up Rel from C all the way up to actually A tier. I was thinking about S tier, but it is a little annoying that they removed my post without saying anything. And that's why Fizz mains is in B tier, as you can see, because they talked about how I could restore that one, which is super cool. And I'll put Yone mains in B tier right now as well, just to show my appreciation. Normally they'd be in C tier, but thanks to Rel mains, which amazing interaction, I'll put them in B tier. Still a little annoyed that they got removed without saying anything, but I can understand. Alright, Renata Glass, we're back to our A tiers. Renekton, A tier. Rengar, A tier. Riven, A tier. Rumble, A tier. Ryze mains. Now, if you've ever heard anything about champion mains subreddits, then you know that Ryze mains is legendary. And yeah, they deserve an S tier. No, not go tier. Get back here, Ryze mains. And it's not really that the post itself was that interesting, but the votes were very, very fascinating and quite a delight to look at. So Ryze mains, S tier, and I would definitely recommend you check out their vote results for sure. Alright, Samira mains, we're back to our A tiers. Sejuani mains we have as a B tier, because sadly, once again, just no comments on the post. Senna mains we have a C tier, because they just removed the post without saying anything. Seraphine mains go into A tier. Okay, now we have Set mains, and Set mains is a very interesting one. While I was making this tier list, actually, they were sitting C tier, because the post just got removed without them saying anything. But then I actually got a message from Set mains. So the Set mains moderator actually messaged me telling me to apologize that the poll got taken down because it was marked as spam, and that they brought it back, and they apologized that it might have lost any traction, and they apologized for the mess. It was very nice. It was weird because I had such bad interactions with other people, so I said how much I appreciated it. I said maybe I could repost the poll because then it could get more traction. And they said I could definitely repost it if I wanted to, which is super cool. Like, I really appreciate that. I didn't end up reposting it because I don't want to spam the subreddits, and I already had collected some votes. So yeah, Set mains, awesome. I really appreciate it. You did remove it without warning me at first, so I can't put you in really high tiers, but I really, really do genuinely appreciate that they came out and reached out to me. So from C tier all the way up to S tier. Set mains, I really appreciate it. I mean, you thought it was a spam at first, and then you critically thought about the situation, realized it wasn't spam, that I wasn't just trying to gain 3 karma per post. And again, Jesus Christ, if you think that I care about karma at all, you are insane. I just want to find out information about all the champions, as I think this is a cool project for me to explore and for you guys to be a part of, and I really appreciate that. So set names, S tier. Thank you once again. All right, Shaco mains, just an A tier. I was kind of hoping there'd be some weird, wacky content there, but they're just chill. Shen gets a C tier. Shen is actually my favorite champion in the entire game, and sadly they just removed the post without warning me, so I have to give them a C tier. It makes me very sad, but Shen, there can't be any biases, you know, no biases whatsoever in this video. I just want to give a completely fair judgment of all the champions that are out there. Shyvana mains, S tier. My god, Shyvana mains. Almost GOAT tier. Shyvana mains are absolutely in the dirt. Just spoiler on the Excel sheet, they are the lowest rated champion by their mains, and it is quite funny to see the interactions that I've had with Shyvana mains. Definitely worth a read if you are curious to see how they are in a bit despair, but they're chilling about it. You know, they're not doomsdayed about the fact that their champion is apparently in the dirt. Singe mains, another A tier. Surprising that there's nothing too crazy like Shaco mains, but we're chilling. Sion mains. Sion mains. You know, Sion mains has always been good to me. I've posted there before. I've always appreciated all the engagement in that I've had with them, and they go into the GOAT tier easily. The whole origin of this video actually comes from me posting in the Sion main subreddit and asking them what they thought about Sion as a support, and that got a lot of engagement. And then I was like, oh, it'd be cool to see what every person thought about their main, just when it comes to strength in general in the meta. And I felt bad because I didn't want to annoy Sion mains by having another poll up. So I waited until I finished all other polls, and then I sheepishly approached the Sion main subreddit mods, and I asked them if I can make another poll. And this is how it went. I said, hello there, dirty Sion mains. I recently made a post where I asked you guys how you would rate Sion as a support, and it got a lot of interaction and inspired me to another passion project where I would ask every subreddit main what they thought the power level of their champion was, and I'd compare them all. The problem is, I already did the one poll and didn't want to annoy everyone, as I don't want to spam people. That is not my goal. I just want to find out information. And I said, do you think it would be okay if I still did, as I have already begun gathering data from 155 other subreddits, such as servers, and don't want to leave my favorite subreddit behind. Because it is, honestly, my favorite subreddit. They are very cool people over at Dirty Sion mains. Highly recommend. And then he responded with, I don't think I understand what you're asking. And I was like, ooh, I feel bad, like, I don't want them to be annoyed. I was kind of worried. I said, yes, sorry, I'm double checking to see if it would be okay to ask another poll question so soon after I asked a different one pretty much. Because again, I understand polls could be seen as low effort, and if you think my polls are low effort, you're absolutely insane. Do you see how much work I am putting into this? Anyways, I just don't want to annoy anyone. And they said, is the poll related to Sion? And I said, yes, of course. The poll would be asking Sion mains how strong they believe Sion is in the current meta. And then he just simply said, that's our type of content. So content where I'm asking Sion mains how strong Sion is at the moment is, of course, what should belong on the Sion main subreddit. And I said, thank you, King. And then it's just like, it boggles my mind how simple that was and how confused he was that I was contacting him about this. Because it's like, yes, you're just asking a question about Sion. Of course it belongs on the dirty Sion mains. And it's interesting enough where it's not bother anyone. I don't know, just thank you, Sion mains. You reaffirmed my beliefs that what I'm doing is not actually insane, because once you get a couple people that you contact with being like, oh, what you're doing is so annoying and so bothersome, and it's not bothersome. I'm just asking you people what you guys think about your champion, and it's interesting. So yes, Sion mains, I mean, you just have to be the GOATs. You're just great. And what surprises me, there's actually some more GOATs coming up, but Sion mains, you are the original GOAT, and I hope you guys do understand that. Alright, let's get back on track with Sivir, and yep, C tier, removed my post, didn't say anything. Simple as that. Skarner mains, we have them in the good old A tier. Sona mains, we have in A tier. Soraka mains, we got an A tier. Swain mains, we have an A tier. Silas mains, an A tier. Syndra mains, an A tier. Tom Kench mains, an A tier. And you know at this point, I am chilling. I am enjoying life. It is good seeing all these posts going well. Talia mains, I also have an A tier. Now, Taric mains, this is an interesting one. Taric mains has a little more power than everyone else, if you don't know, because the person who made the Taric mains subreddit, I believe, inspired like all of the subreddits or something like that. So I posted my poll and it got instantly removed, I think probably by a bot. And I didn't ask him if I could put up the poll. I just didn't want to really bother him just in case he took down the entire project for some reason. So I just kind of left him be. I mean, he does have to go in C tier though, because his poll did get removed without me getting a heads up. So there you go. Talon mains, C tier. Maybe I could have asked for permission, but I didn't want to like annoy anyone too much. All right, Taric mains, back to the A tiers. Teemo mains, we got an A tier, and you would think Teemo mains would be the kind of subreddit to like remove, right, a poll, but it's kind of so weird seeing the champions that do remove it. I don't know. It's been a very interesting process all around. All right, we have Thresh mains, which is a B tier actually, even though Thresh is my favorite champion besides Shen. These guys are tied. Don't call me out for being a hypocrite. I'm not an Akshan mains, I'm on. Nice try there, guy. All right, maybe I'm a little bit hypocritical, but at least I'm willing to admit it. See, but the reason why Thresh mains gets a B tier, not an A tier, is because they have the same problem with Master Yi, where I just can't read the votes. And as I'm updating my Excel sheet, looking back and forth, and I have a tiny bit of dyslexia, I always use the vote count to confirm that the numbers I put in are correct, because oftentimes I make a lot of mistakes. And yeah, it's just nice to see the votes. I can't really see it in light mode. Maybe it's my fault, but I gotta be consistent, you know? It's gotta go in B tier. Tristana mains gets another A tier. Trundle mains gets another A tier. Tryndamere mains gets another A tier. Twisted Fate mains, another A tier. Twitch mains, another A tier. Udyr mains. Now this one's another interesting one. Where do you think it's gonna go? Nope tier? D, C, B? Nope. The answer is, of course, GOAT tier for the Udyr mains. Now you might be wondering why. Well, I contacted the Udyr mods, asking them if I could put the poll up. I said, hello, Udyr main mods. I've been on a mission to garner. I said the same BS as I say to everyone else. Okay, it's not BS, but it's a tailored message. And they said, sup, sorry for the late response. Sure, man, go ahead. I'll pin it when I see it, which is awesome. They are clearly excited to put it up there. I didn't say they need to pin it. That's their own volition. I don't even know if they did. I don't really care. I just want people to vote on it. Comfortable. I don't want to annoy anyone. And I said thank you for the response. Don't worry about the late response. The less someone is on Reddit, the more I respect them. Because you should be going outside, living your life, having fun. And I said I will post that poll right now, and I'm excited to include Udyr mains in the results. And if you're on Reddit a lot, that's fine. Ignore that comment. I'm on Reddit so much right now, but you know what I mean. I don't know why I'm apologizing to you. Just calm down. Oh, I just checked the Udyr mains subreddit, and I actually did poll it. Ooh, you can't really see the vote count, which is a little troll, but you know what? I'll also give you guys GOAT tier. But I'm watching, you know? Another reason why Udyr mains are GOAT tier is because they're one of those subreddits where you can't have a poll initially, and they actually open it up just to allow me to poll them. So again, I super appreciate them doing that. That is so kind of them. All right, Urgot mains, A tier. Varus mains, removed without them saying anything. You know where it goes. C tier. Vayne mains, we get another A tier. Veigar mains, we get a C tier. They just removed the post without saying anything. Kind of sad. I like Veigar, but again, it's up to them. Vel'Koz mains, we get another A tier. Vex mains, I have to put in B tier, sadly, because again, no comments yet. Viego mains, we're back to having a S tier. Exciting stuff. It has been a while, and that's because of this comment where somebody with the Flare 225 just comments 225 and 7 people upvoted it. I have no idea what this means, but I think it's pretty intriguing. I like that the community has something that I don't necessarily know. I played a decent amount of Viego. It's probably some kind of number on a passive or something. I don't know. I can only guess, but I like that they have something spicy like that. So Viego mains, you get an S tier. Victor mains gets an A tier. Vi mains gets a B tier. Again, they just don't have any comments, which is sad. Vi is one of my favorite champions. Again, they might have comments now. It's been a while since I've checked it. But at the time I'm making this video, no comments. So B tier, just to spice things up. Vladimir mains, we have A tier. Now Volibear mains, S tier, borderline GOAT tier, because this subreddit has the most sarcastic and funny people that I have encountered. They got some bear puns that I can barely stand. I mean, I stole that from the subreddit, but you see what I'm saying right now. So if you want a good laugh, I'd definitely check out my Volibear poll. Great content, and I agree with like everything they're saying, which is nice to see. Warwick mains, another S tier, and this one might be a little biased, but honestly, it's because all of their complaints about the champion is how buggy he is, and he's the only champion main that had that issue, which is interesting to see that most other characters work. And I'm a Mastery 7 Warwick player myself who doesn't play Warwick anymore because that champion feels so buggy. So it's just nice to see that other mains have that exact same issue, and it's us Warwick mains that just for some reason have to suffer because his whole kit just feels so wonky. And I could go into it in depth, but the Warwick mains do it for me. So if you want to see what I'm talking about, just go check out that champion main subreddit for yourself. Xayah mains, we're back to our A tiers. Xerath mains, we have another B tier. And just because at the moment I was filming, they didn't have any comments, a little sad to see. Jin Zhao mains, which is a champion I never know how to pronounce. I'm pretty confident in all my other pronunciations. I'm not going to say Shaco or any other weird stuff. Vigar. No. Vagar. Shaco. I mean, I don't know if that's actually right, but that's how I pronounce it. Jin Zhao, I pretty much just say like Jin and Zhao. I could be completely wrong. I don't know why I'm talking about this a lot. A tier. Interesting enough. Yasuo mains, we have an A tier. Kind of funny. I thought they'd either remove my post or have something funny to say, but no, just calm. Well, I mean, it's not. Again, like I said, everything in A tier is an interesting read. Yasuo is definitely an interesting read, but nothing too special. Yorick mains, we have come to another GOAT. Surprising. I don't know why the later champions in the alphabet are so awesome. Yeah, so Yorick mains, I asked them, could I post a thing? And then they asked me, what are you comparing, sir? And then I told them, thank you for the response. I am comparing how mains view the power level of their champion on the current level by having people rank the champion based on an S to F scale. This has allowed me to find out interesting things, such as the highest average rating so far being Kha'Zix, and the lowest rating, to my surprise, is Shyvana. But also I found other things like Ryze mains are almost as likely to vote their champion as an F as they are S. And then I said, I would appreciate if we could somehow get Yorick mains evolved, as I think their take would be interesting to see. And he said, alright, sounds interesting. I enabled the poll option for this sub. Let me know if you need help with anything else. And I said, you are a literal legend. Thank you. I mean, cool, right? Good interaction. Big fan. Yorick mains, I super duper appreciate it. You get put in the GOAT tier. You listened to what I had to say. You came up with a good response. We came up with a compromise. Awesome stuff. Thank you so much for your help. Alright, Yuumi mains, and this gives me absolutely no pressure that I just have to put them in C tier because they deleted my post so quickly. Oh, I'm so sorry, Yuumi mains. It's a shame. Totally no biases here, you know? You know what the rules are. You just have to be in C tier. It's so really sucks and pains me to do. Zac mains gets another A tier. Zed mains, they removed the post without any heads up, so C tier. Zeri mains, another easy A tier. Ziggs mains, another C tier. Removed the post without saying anything. Zillion mains, would you believe it? Another GOAT tier. Oh my lord. I can't believe we had 4. I expected only Sion mains to be in the GOATs, but Zillion mains? I mean, like many of the other subreddits, I messaged them, and then he said, hey, I had to disable polls as there was a lot of posts with very low effort and basic questions that have already been answered. I can enable it so you can make a post. Sorry for a late response. I had a busy day, and he responded the next day, so it wasn't even long. He said, it should be enabled in a moment. I will turn these off again tomorrow. Hopefully this time window will be enough for you, which is awesome. He's being super helpful. He's doing something where the polls were annoying in the past, which I can completely understand. But he understands because he's using critical thinking, where he sees that what I'm doing is not one of those annoying polls, and I'm being respectful, where I'm asking him if we can work something out, and he's helping me out, which is awesome. And again, I say, you are a legend. And I told him I understand you need to disable polls, and I posted it in that time frame he gave me because I want to work with these guys as best as I can. And again, Zillion mains, boom, GOAT tier. I super duper appreciate the help that you guys gave me. Zoe mains, A tier. Syra mains, A tier. Bel'Veth, we have an A tier. Milio, I think that's how you pronounce it. Milio, I don't know, sorry. You go in A tier, and Nyla, she has to go in C tier because sadly the post has been removed. Now, this is normally where I thought the video would end, but Bel'Veth mains actually decided to spice things up and send me a little message. And I want you guys to make a prediction. Do you think the message would boost her up or take her down a little bit? All right, take a second to guess. All right, good, you've guessed. Let's see what their message was to me. All right, Bel'Veth mains coming to me. They haven't removed my post yet, but they did, and they actually were the only subreddit out of all of them to message me that they removed the post, which I super appreciate. But let's see what they said. And this person said, I'm only just reviewing some more posts for approval. A number of other subreddits have straight up refused to allow polls. Understandable. And Bel'Veth mains is now going to follow suit in that regard. Well, that's a bit annoying because subreddits like Yorick mains and Udyr mains, Zillion mains did not allow polls, but actually all enabled them for me. So yeah, even though polls can clearly be annoying, some subreddits that have had problems with polls actually open them up just to allow my poll. So it clearly shows that not everyone agrees that they are the most annoying polls ever. And they continue by saying, your post containing the initial poll has been removed and will not be restored at this time. Okay, you should have consulted first, which is an interesting take. You did not, and I'm less than happy about it. Next time, perhaps run it by the persons in charge of the community. They'll be using their subreddit as a polling tool for your spreadsheet project. Now, this makes it seem like I'm exploiting their subreddit, which, I mean, maybe you can make that case, but I think I'm actually enhancing the subreddit as this specific poll actually had good engagement, it had decent upvotes, so it clearly showed that people didn't mind answering the poll itself. So yeah, I don't really know how to outro this video, so I'm pretty much going to end it with my response to the Bel'Veth mains, where I try to reason with them, I talk to them. Of course, they haven't responded to it, but maybe one day we'll see a response. Pretty much what I'm going to say before that is make sure not to harass anybody. That is the last thing I want to do. Don't dox anyone, don't mess with anyone, don't do anything weird. I mean it, I swear to everything. Do not do that. I'm not advocating for that. Treat everyone with kindness. At the end of the day, these are just human beings. I'm just a human being. That's why I made this video in general, because I don't appreciate it when people treat me like a sack of potatoes or something, you know. Just treat everyone with respect. And if you don't, I'm going to make an entire tier list video where I call you out. So yeah, if you like the video, make sure to leave it a like, comment if you want to ask me a question or anything like that. In the description will be the Excel sheet where you can see everything that I have been working on, and pretty soon I'll have the final video encompassing this project where we really go into all of the results that we've gotten from these polls. But without further ado, let's read my response to Bel'Veth main mods to end this video. Hi there, Bel'Veth main mods. You are not the first subreddit to remove my poll, but the only one to actually have the courage to tell me that they are, which I super appreciate. I do agree in a perfect world I should have consulted first, just to double check that it was okay. But I hope you can have a bit of empathy in my situation, as to make this project work, I have to contact 163 moderators. If I do that very efficiently, it would take 1 minute each, which is a super low estimate, totaling 163 minutes, or 2 hours and 43 minutes. Which yes, you can argue I should do, but at the same time, after looking over your rules, it doesn't say you have to ask for permission before posting, and I would argue I didn't violate rules 1, 2, 3, 4 for sure. Rule 5 of no self-promotion. I did have a link to a Google Sheets so that people can look at the results themselves, but I did that as not to be selfish of the data I'm collecting, as people may have been interested in it. Rule 6. No low-effort content. Has specific examples which I didn't even come close to violating. You could make the case that copy and pasting the same poll is low effort, but honestly it was a ton of effort, as you can't just copy and paste polls, so I have to make them each time for each person. I also did not want to change the poll for each subreddit, as I didn't want that to influence the votes in any way. Rule 7 and 8 I didn't violate. Rule 9. I suppose I did violate in your eyes, where you think my post was an overall detriment to the community, which saddens me. Now I do not care about karma one bit, but upon removal my poll on your subreddit had 6 upvotes. I can't see what percentage positive the poll has anymore, which at least shows people didn't absolutely hate it. It also garnered 517 votes, which is very impressive considering this is the 12th smallest sub, but garnered the 39th most votes out of all champion mains. That's actually insane. I really appreciated all of the input. Also, yes, many subreddits have straight up refused to allow polls, and of the ones I've contacted, 2 of them were so kind as to open up their polls just for me, and 1 told me to use straw polls, while the rest I've just not heard back from. In the end, in an ideal world, I would have asked for permission first from every subreddit, yes, but logistically that would have been a bit of a nightmare, and I didn't think it was too necessary, as I thought, perhaps foolishly, I wasn't violating rules. Again, thanks for letting me know you removed the poll. Sorry for any harm I may have done, and to quote the true Queen of the Rift, I do not feel hatred. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I hope you have a good rest of the day.
I do not feel hatred.